we were very, I guess intentional is the word that we would use about our implementation of technology. So another school at the time chose to put the devices in a single classroom. And rather than doing that, we thought it would be more powerful to put it in the hands of every adult and know that we were going to generate or create demand, and that's exactly what happened.
And so one of our things that we wanted to be all about was, how can we be ahead of the curve? How can we be out in front? And so we secured quite a few carts of devices, began deploying those in the hands of teachers and children in our school.
Our administrator has been really good about just slowly, gradually, and intentionally getting us more comfortable with technology as teachers. We've had just the right amount of push from our administrators and at the right amount of support. It really takes that, because otherwise, I'm the type of person that I would just be like, I don't want that.
So the momentum began to build, which was wonderful. One of the things, though, that was absolutely essential in this was support. We needed to have an expert in our building available to provide that support. And fortunately, our instructional coach was that person. She worked closely with NNU and the Docheo Center. There was a lot of dialogue back and forth on what was working, what wasn't working.
So at Columbia High School, what we did was distributed leadership. Very important for me to create demand in that, why would we need to have professional learning communities of teachers with teacher leadership and that distributed all throughout the school? Because to pull off deploying almost 2,000 devices in one school year, we went from 0 to 60, so to speak. One of the things that was most important to me for me to sustain this was to build leadership capacity and have teaming, collaborative teaming especially, in place so that they could support each other.
We wanted to set Lake Ridge and our elementary school apart, and part of that was creating a focus and identifying an identity that made Lake Ridge a little bit different. Initially for us, we thought that it was going to be through STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. The challenge with STEM is there's no definition of it. It's hard to get your hands around it. It can be whatever you call it. And the hack model for us really gave us something that we could kind of get our hands around. And as we became more familiar with the hack model, was incorporating project-based learning, which really is the hack model. The hack model and project-based learning blend together almost perfectly.
We're able to see a growth mindset and a shift of instruction. I've talked to a lot of teachers, and when I go in and ask them, would you rather go back to the traditional way you've taught, or would you rather move into this more personalized learning? And none of them want to go back because their mindset has shifted. They've even seen it in their students where they have this grit, they have this academic stamina that if failures happen, it's okay. We're going to win the battle the next day. And you see that in these classrooms. You see that with the teachers, you see that with the students. And that's a key component. Once teachers have that, then that's one of the key ingredients to being successful. And that's one of the goals we want to see.
This generation longs for relevance. This generation longs for why am I learning this? Why does this matter to me? By doing cross-curricular studies, by integrating and de-siloing, it allows students to see that relevance. It allows students to say, this is the why. This is the why I need to know this.
With device and with the applications that were being used in the classroom for instruction, kids were doing it seamlessly. They had dexterity. For me, it's heartwarming, and the reason for that is because I want kids to really feel comfortable about that they can be future-oriented, that they're going to be ready for the world that's outside, versus in here trying to contrive something that's very prescribed and academic. So it's really heartwarming for me to see it be seamless and that they have dexterity with it.